All right. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm going to get started. We've got obviously a bunch of big updates that went out this week. And so I've got some updates to share, as well as some top questions from the community that we've gotten throughout testnet and after the big announcement on Wednesday. But yeah, I'm Casey Halter, aka Ivy St. Ive. I'm Lamina1's Director of Content and Community, and today I'm joined by our moderation team at Defiance to give a quick end of testnet update and catch up on some questions from the community we've been compiling around a bunch of things, from our current quest system to community engagement tracking to our upcoming End of Testnet giveaway, and also ways to get involved as we make the transition from testnet to Betanet, which is coming up incredibly soon. So before we sort of dive into questions, I just wanted to make sure that everyone here is aware of the big update we posted on announcements and general and testnet updates earlier this week. The big news is Betanet is officially launching this upcoming Monday, July 31st, and we'll be rolling out to the community in stages through the month of August. So as like a quick overview, TLDR that I put together for you all you guys is next week, we're going to be focusing on getting our bootstrap nodes up and running. We're going to be doing a bunch of testing with our internal team, advisors and investors, and we're going to be just doing a quick end of week update with L1 engineering, focused on what that early chain performance is. Now, I just actually heard in from the L1 engineering and product teams, they actually did a little test of pushing Betanet live today secretly, and apparently it went really well. So super excited to start rolling it out, and we're going to be having a big announcement happening that on Monday. I'll keep you all posted. Then week 2, we're going to start onboarding Betanet validators, our L1 early access program, and some folks from our top testers and engagers group, as well as select media. So this is obviously, before we get the whole community on Betanet, we need to get the infrastructure set to support all of you. So that's going to happen in week 2. For anyone who's applied to become a Betanet validator, we're making selections next week. So stay tuned on that. If you're on our sort of node validator email lists, you'll be getting an update from me next week. Week 3. Which is right now scheduled for August 14th, will be the public rollout of the Betanet. So we are launching alongside Betanet something that we're calling the L1 Hub, which is, we started by calling it a wallet, but it has evolved so much beyond being a wallet at this point. It's more like your sort of access platform for entering the open metaverse. So we've been working on it super hard over the last few months, and that's basically going to be your sort of like main hub for interacting with Betanet moving forward. So that's launching tentatively August 14th, week 3. Obviously, I'll keep you posted as testing and rollout kind of begins, and we'll have a big end of week AMA with L1 leadership. Then finally, week 4 of Betanet rollout will end with our End of Testnet giveaway. We'll be announcing the winners of that, as well as a community-wide Betanet celebration that I am currently planning. So it's going to be a really busy 4 weeks coming up at Lamina1, and we are super, super excited to start rolling it out. Now, you will see that I didn't put strong dates. A lot of these will kind of like change depending on how early testing and rollout goes, but this is the plan for now, and I'm super excited that I was able to share this with you guys earlier this week. So, in the lead up to launch, as another big FYI, we are going to be taking down all of our current testnet quests from the Lamina1 Zealy platform on Friday, August 4th at 12 o'clock p.m. PST or 6 o'clock p.m. UTC. This is a way for us to give OG Lamina1 testnet participants a leg up on the official L1 leaderboard as we move forward into Betanet. And it's also a way for us to get a clean data pull for some of our upcoming End of Testnet giveaways, which is basically where 10 lucky community members will receive a package of L1 goodies and badges and early access from yours truly, plus obviously a community-wide event that will get everyone set up with the tokens and support they need to dive into Betanet testing. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I can't really say much about that other than get ready for a really nice giveaway that'll help us kind of move forward into Betanet testing. We also did announce final giveaway items for our 10 lucky winners this week. which includes a mix of swag and access to a first look group that will get you priority access to future validating, testing, community initiatives and programs we'll be launching as we move towards mainnet. I'll be getting into the specifics of what I mean by that in a little bit as we keep going, but that's kind of where we're at with the End-of-Testnet Giveaway. We'll probably be sending packages around the world, which is really awesome. And Neil has been busy putting his signatures on Snow Crash, which, as I'm sure you all know, is where the term metaverse was originally coined and has basically been the Bible for creating this amazing online immersive interactive world that we are now all building together. I also, before we dive into questions, wanted to just give a big reminder that if you really want early access to Betanet and have some node running or coding experience, we encourage you to apply to become a Betanet validator, ideally by the end of this week. So we've got a couple of requirements that I just wanted to make you guys aware of for making selections. Obviously, this is Betanet, so it needs to be more stable. It needs to be more reliable. And so we're really looking for folks to support us who are familiar with Ubuntu, who are interested in validating for more than a month, are potentially able to cover a monthly cloud cost of up to $100 US. And also, we're obviously going to be selecting validators based on geographic distribution, really trying to make sure that we're building the framework of our decentralized network and platform from the ground up, really smartly and strategically moving forward. So to apply to become a validator, I'm dropping a link in the chat now. We've got a block survey application. We'll be selecting validators from 731 through 8-4. So far, I've gotten about 130 applications in. And we are targeting about 100 people to begin validating for us. Now, that includes L1 early access partners, that includes a bunch of LAMINA1 staffers who are also going to be setting up nodes, as well as a bunch of the folks who have been validating for us for testnet. So if you're already validating for testnet, we've got you, and we'll be transitioning you over to Betanet as well, as long as your uptimes are pretty good and you've proved yourself as a reliable validator thus far. Advantages to validator onboarding, as I said before, are early access to Betanet. You'll be able to start earning Betanet tokens. You'll get access to a private Telegram group where we'll have extra documentation support, a sort of extra facet of the community, as well as a lot of validators and a lot of folks are interested in becoming validators because they are interested in setting up dedicated subnets to start launching experiences, getting a dedicated dev environment to begin testing, upcoming releases that they want to do on LAMINA1. So becoming a validator can really help out with that. So those were sort of like the big 3 CTAs that we put out this week to the community. And yeah, it was a super long update. So I just wanted to kick off with this AMA with just like an overview to make sure that we're all on the same page. And obviously there are a ton of questions coming out of this announcement, which we're going to address. So that brings us to questions. So for today's AMA, I'm actually joined by one of our moderation leads, Michael, who many of you will recognize from the server. Michael works for a team called Defiance, which is a not-for-profit community accelerator focused on empowering Web3 communities. We've been working with Defiance since the launch of LAMINA1, and if I do say so myself, Michael, you guys have been doing an incredible job supporting the community as we focus on building the tech and tools to empower you all. So I guess before we kick off into questions, Michael, do you want to say hi to the community? Just give a quick intro.
Thank you very much. And hi, everybody.
He's here to back on any really specific questions we've got. Again, Defiance are awesome, and if you're looking for a community mod team or someone to help grow your Web3 ecosystem, highly recommend. Love them so much. Anyway,
thank you so much.
I'm going to actually drop their link into the chat as well, because check them out. They're awesome. So yeah, we're going to kick off with some of these initial questions here. So these are kind of pulled from all across the community, stuff that we've gotten in previous AMAs, our FAQ list. A lot of these questions are things that I know that you guys have been asking us that we haven't really addressed. So I'm just going to dive into them by myself here and try to get through as many as possible. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to drop them into the chat. and I will try to get to them at the end of the session, depending on how much time we have. I also just want to note before you start asking questions, this is all focused on Quest giveaway and end-of-testnet stuff. So any tech or tokenomics questions you have about Betanet, I'm unfortunately not going to be qualified to answer. We can kind of address those in some upcoming engineering check-ins we have scheduled over the next couple of weeks with our CTO, Will Carter, the L1 dev team, and L1 leadership. But yeah, let's kind of just focus on like community engagement, all of that stuff. That's my bread and butter, all of that stuff. So first question that we get all the time from community members is why Quest, or, what is the point of the Zealy Quest system? Why are you doing it? And why should I do it? So as a quick overview, quests are essentially weekly or bi-weekly or regular challenges that we design in tandem with the L1 product and engineering teams to help test key tech tool sets and infrastructure at LAMINA1, to help get the word out about us to the Web3 community, and to give you guys a feeling that you are really helping to build the LAMINA1 platform together, right? This is a community-based initiative, and Quest platforms, are tried and true way for Web3 communities to really start engaging and start providing their feedbacks in sort of an incentivized and gamified system. So, for example, testnet challenges really helped us flood the L1 testnet with organic traffic to evaluate chain performance early on. Your feedback and bug reports help us improve rollouts, prioritize development goals, and collaboratively build alongside the community. We've held creator competitions through our Quest system that, help us get a peek at the creative projects that LAMINA1 members are working on, and also show off and promote their work to other community members. And finally, surveys. And I know we give a lot of surveys, but they help us pull key user data that helps inform our strategy and building processes, the partnerships we're pursuing, and the initiatives we roll out. And finally, these AMAs really help us connect directly with you guys and kind of take a constant pulse on what you're thinking and the concerns and questions you have as we're developing. So I work really, really closely with engineering and product to basically take all of the questions and things you're asking about and requests that you have and kind of thread them up so that we can really inform the development. And Quest just kind of help us put out those releases, kind of reward folks for engaging with us and be able to track who actually is engaging with the platform as we sort of build and grow together. Why Quest? Because you're a builder that believes in LAMINA1 and the emerging open metaverse economy we're building. May not be the best thing if you're just looking for a quick buck or a get rich scheme right now. We're in super early days. We're just transitioning from testnet to Betanet, right? But it is if you believe in L1 and if you want to help us build this platform and if you want to say and how this emerging open metaverse is going to be built, this is a really good way to do it. So I also get a bunch of questions in general about how exactly we've been tracking community engagement since the beginning of testnet. So right now, Zealy is the primary way that we've been tracking engagement thus far. It's quantitative, it's easily verifiable, it has a built-in tracking and gamification system we really like. Now, we've looked at other tools like Galaxy in the past. We've gotten some recommendations from folks to look into that, but frankly, they don't have the features or abilities that we need to run the kinds of quests that we want. That said, we do know that there are ways to game the system on Zealy, and we also want to reward folks who are engaging actively and helping out other community members. So, alongside the Zealy system, we've also been quietly pulling analytics and data around the following criteria, which is basically the number of badges you're earning, the length you have been a member of the LAMINA1 Discord server, your engagement on specific channels, for example, interest group, international channels, testnet discussion and support, AMAs, L1 initiatives, etc. Maybe not necessarily the good morning, good night channel. However, if you do say good morning, good night every day, that's awesome. As well as, initiative engagement, folks who have done first looks on our white papers, submitted feedback, our regular attendees of our AMAs. We are sort of quietly marking down your names, kind of making sure that we kind of have you in our system so that we know, who are the people who are actually engaging, right? Think of these trackers, though, as sort of bonus modifiers to your base Zealy scores. So to like nerd out on the math a little bit, like if you're a level 9 on Zealy right now, but you also have every single badge we've put out and have been a member of LAMINA1 since the fall of 2022, you basically get these like percentage modifiers added onto your score to help amplify it and move you up on our list. So this score, quote unquote, will be used to determine things like how many entries you have in our upcoming testnet giveaway, your entrance into future gated groups or ambassador programs, and other sort of incentivization plans that we can't really talk about right now. This is a way, again, for us to reward folks who are real builders, not just airdrop hunters, botters, or scammers. And that's been kind of our mission since day one. I think, working for Neil and Peter and Rebecca, they're really focused, we're kind of doing this a little bit differently than a lot of like your sort of bull market Web3 communities by design, because again, this is about building. Right? Like this is about building real stuff and long-term utility and value, not necessarily creating like, big value bubbles that burst and, pop, right? Like this is a long-term future. We want to build something real and tangible. And that's kind of how we've set up this whole system to support that so far. Finally, is there an airdrop planned or an ICO? Obviously, I think that this is actually the most common question we get in LAMINA1. And the official answer that I have compiled with our team is we have not planned on running an ICO or anything like that from LAMINA1. It's early days now, and so far we've really felt that investors will provide us the capital to get launched and will free us up to do more along the lines of providing incentives, airdrops and things like that baked into the protocols as we move towards mainnet launch. Again, like ICOs are a great way to get a lot of followers like really quickly and then have them all abandon you and resell your tokens really fast. And like that's not necessarily a strategy we want to be pursuing. So no ICO. There's no airdrop officially planned in the works, but I will say next up on our white paper list is a tokenomics paper that will lay out the math of sort of how incentivization will work in the future. And that's obviously a cornerstone that we need laid down before we start allocating any sort of rewards or anything to the community. And also just in general, remember, testnet, betanet, we're in test phases right now. So until then, until I say otherwise, anyone who advertises an airdrop or an ICO to you is a scammer. And please do not trust them, right? I see I'm getting a lot of questions in here. And again, I will get to these at the end of the session. I was anticipating this would raise a bunch of questions, so really, really appreciate it. Next up, I want to get into a couple of questions about the giveaway itself. So a lot of community members are asking, tell me more about this End-of-Testnet giveaway. Is it really just swag? Yep, that's actually what we've been saying since the very beginning, because my question for you is, why would we give you a bunch of valueless testnet tokens that would be wiped out every time we had to put a reset to the chain? So that is yes, right now the giveaway is a t-shirt, a signed copy of Neil Stephenson book, but I want to stress the importance of giveaway item number 3, which is entrance into a gated group for our top testers and engagers. Now, a few community members have actually already been added to this group, but this group basically gets you priority access to become a validator, to test out future experiences and features. For example, we've had a couple of members where I'll kind of message our top testers engagers group and say, hey, we're looking for validators. Hit us up directly if you want to validate for us. Like, you don't have to go through the normal process. We know we can trust you. We know we've got you, right? Or we've also had a couple of folks on the early testers engagers who have actually already taken a look at the LAMINA1 hub and some of the prototypes we've been building and have been giving us like super early feedback and how we've been building out that project. And so this group, as we sort of continue rolling out initiatives and products and tools and like ways to start sort of creating ecosystems and earning, this group is going to become more and more kind of valuable as we grow. So top testers and engagers is, I think, going to be a really exciting kind of group. And again, we'll be adding 10 people from the community for this giveaway to this group at the end of testnet. So next up, we have a lot of questions too on bots and cheaters. How will we be making sure that reward hunters do not hoover up the limited supply of L1 Betanet tokens, cheat the XP system, and cheat the testnet giveaway? So basically, we've been tracking this stuff as well. So the engagement process I detailed earlier is one safeguard against this. And we've also been amping up our verification process for new members pretty significantly since we first launched. Michael, I know I called you out in the beginning, but do you want to chime in quickly and overview some of the stuff you've been implementing that's kind of helping to keep the community safe and free from scammers?
Yeah, of course. So we have 4 different bots for this process. There's a CAPTCHA bot that is case sensitive, and that's working pretty well. We have a couple of different internal channels to watch the users as they're coming in, and then that's working with Dino bot and the Sledgehammer bot as well. So we've got a couple of different rules that I won't get into too much detail about, but those are slowing down the rewards farmers as well. And we also have an automod set up, and that's just mainly for scam accounts.
Awesome. Yeah, I think like in general, we've been like, prevention is the kind of best way to get to this. And so that's kind of been our focus so far. And also, I mean, we do use a lot of tools to sort of pre-screen scammers, code sharers, abuse. These kind of get immediately deleted and kind of pushed to a private channel where we can see very actively the folks and usernames who are degrading the community. We don't have like a solid, like we kind of decide on like who to boot and who not to boot on a case by case basis. It's complicated, right? We're like not really in the business of moderation here at LAMINA1. We are all about sort of an open metaverse. We don't mind, anonymous accounts. I think, we're big proponents of sort of like free speech online and all of that stuff. And so it's not like a catch-all process or anything like that. We don't have like blacklists or anything like that we're compiling or anything. But we are, I will say, to kind of keep things healthy, we've been booting about like 80 to 100 bots a day. And we will keep doing it as we move towards Betanet launch because we got to keep a healthy community.
That's right. I think that our ban count is somewhere in the thousands now.
Oh gosh, well, yeah, some weeks are better than others, y'all.
Yep.
But yeah, it's definitely a fun world, and we're doing a lot of work on the back end to kind of make sure that folks who only the active builders are the ones who are going to, come out champions and winners. So next up, selection process. How will you be selecting winners for the testnet giveaway, and what's the criteria? So again, I'm going to show y'all a little bit of like a nerdy math table. And we've shared these in the community before, but it was kind of a while ago. So I just wanted to kind of bring this up for the community again. So the testnet giveaway system essentially works on this scaled ticketing scheme tied to your current Zealy XP scores, plus, as I said before, these extra sort of percentage bonus modifiers or tickets based on your overall engagement. So, for example, if you've reached level 2 on Zealy, you get 1 giveaway ticket. If you reach level 7 on Zealy, you get 5 giveaway tickets, 9, 10 giveaway tickets, etc., etc. This is designed to sort of go along in tandem with Zealy's kind of built-in XP system, which they have on their website available. And I took a little screenshot of the chart there for you. So basically, the week of August 7th, we'll be compiling all this data into a massive spreadsheet, then having a bot randomly select 10 winners from the list. From there, we will quickly cross-reference those names with our sort of alert bot scammy channels to ensure that you haven't been actively botting, scamming, or abusing on the platform, and then selecting new winners if for some reason a winner doesn't meet that criteria. We will be announcing those winners the week after public Betanet launch, live in our community AMA Betanet launch celebration on Friday, August 25th is when it's currently scheduled, and then reaching out directly to winners to figure out where to send your packages. So that's the selection process, a lot of math, but again, like this is all kind of in my brain, guys, but it's me trying to, again, incentivize like real work, real effort, real engagement, real people who are trying to build the open metaverse with us. We also have gotten some questions. I think Jackal Girl asked this one actually, about like experience testing. So will there be any possibility of LAMINA1 community testers to be able to be beta testers for some of the games that LAMINA1's partners are currently working on or deploying to the LAMINA1 blockchain? The answer to this is yes. So we are already talking to a bunch of our L1 early access program partners about this, and we'll likely be opening up these opportunities to first our top testers and engagers, and then the rest of the community as we get them onboarded onto Betanet and these sort of new specialized subnets or meta chains that we talked about pretty at length in our Metaverse as a Service white paper. I'm going to drop a list of our current EAP members in the chat today. And these folks are, we've got a bunch of press releases out and stuff. I'll provide links in a channel a little bit later on, but they are a mix of sort of AAA game experiences, creator tool sets, folks who are making like really cool avatars or AI generated content experiences. It's kind of a really interesting selection of folks. Some like Walker World, Renza, and Weaver have already been on our AMAs to show off their experience and platforms and give demos to the community on like what they're up to. And so we're going to be continuing that. We'll kind of be showcasing you guys the kinds of tools and experiences we're kind of looking into and giving sort of early access to the chain. And again, it's kind of based on a partner by partner basis, but like a lot of our partners are interested in like using our community to help kind of beta test and check out these games before they roll out. And so I'm going to be doing my best to kind of negotiate with them, talk to them, figure out how we can do that for the community moving forward. Finally, another question. Will there be any other prizes such as exclusive NFTs, badges, merch, etc., that community members can look forward into the future? So again, yes. I'm going to just say this now, get ready for some kind of drop when we launch decentralized asset storage on the LAMINA1 hub post Betanet launch. We want to make sure that everyone's wallets are populated with at least one asset. I also really want to do more merch, event ticket drops, creator competitions, etc., as we continue to push toward mainnet to, again, showcase and reward our most active builders. So definitely stay tuned here for a bunch of that stuff. Obviously, as we move from testnet to Betanet to mainnet, things are starting to become a lot more real, right? Like the platform is really coming together. We're going to actually be able to start like launching and testing like more robust experiences than your typical sort of like transaction trading and all of that stuff. And we want to make sure that in addition to kind of testing it out, that we've got community initiatives that kind of like tie along. And of course, like merch is awesome. We've got cool t-shirts planned. I really want to do dad hats. We'll see what budget allows. We're a pretty small and scrappy team right now. So, and we're mostly focused on the core development and community building rather than like marketing stuff at the moment, which I think is probably good for all of us. But again, as we sort of move forward and continue growing, I want to definitely do more of that. Also, I am terrible at checking my Discord DMs, but if you have any suggestions or cool things that you would want or that you can offer or that you think would be a great sort of incentive or prize for the community that isn't like us sending you free money, which is not going to happen again, feel free to drop them in the community requests channel. Finally, what's next? So get a lot of questions on what are the future programs the community can look forward to with Betanet launch. So obviously we've got testnet quests. We've had the L1 Ecosystem Fund, a couple of programs that we've launched during testnet. During Betanet, again, pending sort of fundraising and roadmap planning, which is always changing in the crazy Web3 crypto world. We're already starting to talk about an L1 event series of hackathons, virtual workshops, and regional events for L1 community members. Again, like, it's about to get real, and we want to make sure that we're providing our community with the tools and resources that they need to really get up and running and building. So stay tuned for updates on that. I also really want to launch an L1 ambassador program over the next few months. This will have to happen post tokenomics white paper launch. Basically, we need to figure out how we're going to incentivize the program before we launch it, because I'm also trying to limit the amount of free labor we're asking community members to do as we're in sort of testnet and betanet phases. And then, as I said before, too, NFT creator competitions, talent showcases, community meetups. Again, we have a tight budget and a tiny team right now, but the community is one of our biggest strengths right now for LAMINA1, and I am always trying to use the tiny budget I have to be able to kind of like expand it and kind of give you guys back what you need and what you're looking for as we continue to grow. All right, we're almost to the end of my pre-selected question list. Bear with me, I am not used to talking this much in these AMAs. A lot of folks are also asking, is the L1 community or moderation team hiring right now? Can I help out? Not right now, though I would love some more help and support. Right now, again, we're focusing primarily on the engineering product and core business at LAMINA1, but as soon as we do have positions available, I will alert you. To everyone who's already inputted resumes through our Get Involved form, I see you. I have everyone's stuff in a database when we're ready to go. And also just wanted to mention again, right now, a ton of our moderation and community management is done by Defiance. And they are so good that I just, you know, I wouldn't replace them for anything. But yeah, so Defiance is our moderation team right now. And we are not hiring currently. Finally, I think the actually most common question we get is when mainnet. So when mainnet is contingent on a lot of things. It's a difficult question to answer. It is contingent on the closing of our seed round. It is contingent on how this next phase of development and testing goes in Betanet. And it is also contingent on some upcoming partnership announcements that we're about to make in the coming future and how those partnerships go. So all I can say to you right now is expect Betanet to last at least a few months. Reminder that testnet is ending up running about 30 weeks total, which is pretty quick, especially in a crazy bear market. So huge props to the L1 team for getting us and the community for getting us to where we are so quickly. And again, I'll keep you posted here as soon as we're ready to make a public announcement about mainnet launch. A lot of those decisions are well above my pay grade, but it's really, really exciting. All right. So, man, it's 11:49. This was a big one. Took longer than I expected. And yes, I'm so sorry I spoke fast. I will slow down a little bit, Vlad. My apologies. So let me see. I'm going to start scrolling through the chat feed and see if there are any live questions that I can get to within. Okay, so someone asked, is there going to be any reward for decryption competition in Zealy? So, okay, yes, we had our cryptography competition. That was a wild week. That was one of my most fun weeks with all of you guys. The rewards for that were the Zealy XP. So that week in particular, those who participated probably noticed that the XP for those cryptography competitions were pretty hefty. And so basically, if you participated in those challenges, all the challenges have been taken down as of a couple of days ago because we already published all the answers, and so that's not quite fair. But basically, if you participated in the cryptography challenge, you were able to significantly kind of boost your Zealy score, and that was kind of how we designed that competition. Alchemist19, you talk about this is a great learning curve for everyone. Quests are a great way to learn. And yes, I feel like that's a really, really good addition of this conversation is like a big thing that I'm also trying to do with quests, like in addition to tracking engagement and incentivization for later down the line, once we're kind of past the testnet and betanet phases, is like we can use them to kind of teach people about things. Like some of the quests are about like are tied to like wallet safety 101 pieces or anything. And it's kind of teaching you like the core basic Web3 and blockchain fundamentals so that our community members are like familiar and able to sort of start building and testing together. We've got a really interesting community here at LAMINA1 where I think it's like 52% of L1 community members describe themselves as creators, which is way higher than your kind of typical Web3 or blockchain community. And we also have a ton of folks who describe themselves as either intermediate or entry-level Web3 crypto people. We have a lot of creators who are like, this is kind of my first time ever interacting with blockchain. I'm a little skeptical about it. How do I get started? And so a lot of our quests are kind of designed both as a way to kind of like reward folks who know what they're doing, but then also to teach people who are willing to learn with us along the way. Let's see. Jackal Girl, you asked if you're looking for ways to help. I'm pretty sure there are still a bunch of opportunities for people to help check proofread documentation in languages other than English. Ivy St. Ive, is this correct? You could still use help with this? Yes, Jackal Girl. So our international channels are channels that I'm currently tracking. I did a little test initiative where I started translating a bunch of our white papers through ChatGPT to try to get some translations out. Big request from the community. Obviously, we've got a huge international community. And actually, as of yesterday, our team member Jillian, if you're listening, thank you so much for helping out with that. She actually got everything kind of put through ChatGPT, formatted properly, and like ready to start checking. So I'm actually going to be posting those onto the international channels either today or maybe early next week. And the idea is if you want to give the white paper a read in your native language and let me know if there's any abhorrent translation errors or typos or formatting inconsistencies, let me know. And we'll continue kind of building that together. Again, we're a small team, so I'm trying to get all of these community requests in as like scrappy and efficiently as possible. So that is a big sort of engagement thing that you guys can kind of help us out on. Alchemist19 says, folks are asking these questions because they don't quite yet understand the underlying mission of L1. This is something that we really need to articulate in a way that makes sense to the community. I totally hear you, Alchemist19. And I think like our mission is kind of like big and sort of intangible, but in general, like our sort of big mission that we're kind of pushing out and what we kind of say about ourselves on the LAMINA1 website, which is like a statement that we went through over and over again, is we are trying to build a blockchain that provides builders and creators a usable framework to create a better online future. What do we mean by a better online future? We mean an online future where people can have privacy and prosperity as they move through it, right? Current Web 2 platforms are doing pretty bad things with our data. Privacy is virtually non-existent on a lot of platforms out there today, and creators get the short end of the stick almost everywhere. Blockchain and Web3 in general have really, really good ways to both protect user privacy, to create a more secure online environment, and to make sure that creators get paid for the experiences they're making in a more direct way. And that's why we're doing this, right? Like we're right now facing this kind of new era where the internet's about to get a lot more immersive. The internet's going to get a lot more spatial. And it's kind of our chance to be able to kind of take back some of that power that we had. And so that's at least what gets me up every day and inspires me to keep building. And was why I joined LAMINA1. And I know that, Neil gives a lot of keynotes where he talks about this a lot more in depth and a lot more eloquently than I ever could. But that's kind of what at least my translation of the mission is. And I'm a bit more idealist, and I'm sure some of our engineers would come up with a lot more granular and tactical answers for you than I could. But that's why I believe in LAMINA1, and you guys are the best. I think those are all of our questions that we had. It's 11:56. If anyone's got any additions, let me know. In the meantime, I'm gonna drop our secret code for this AMA, which you can redeem for XP. The 3 quests that we posted this week are going to be our last of testnet. So next week we're just going to say, catch up on the quests. Make sure you've got as much XP as you can to move up the leaderboard to increase your chances of winning our End-of-Testnet giveaway. And again, stay tuned. It's going to be moving real fast. We've got a lot of updates coming out. I've got a lot of assets and copy that I've been charting out and help center messaging and FAQs and everything. And I'm sure you guys will help pressure test and find all the errors in it, which is exactly what we need you for. So again, stay tuned. And I hope that this was helpful for everyone and clarified some of the answers. It's a little complicated, obviously, to kind of get to all of them within sort of a fragmented Discord channel. So I wanted to have this out there for everyone to answer a bunch of questions. And yeah, I'll work on transcribing this one as well for the folks who say that I'm talking very fast, which I do. Apologize. All right. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.